Right. So this lesson here will be the probably the most involved of all of these for the Connect Four series, and that's because we're going to implement the logic of the machine learning for the AI. So getting the AI to learn how to play the game. Okay, so the main concept, and we'll start here. Okay, is we're going to keep track of, I'm going to call them states of the game. So a state is just basically I'm going to this board consists of zeros, ones, and twos, right? So we're just going to have a string of, I guess this will be 64 characters long, and it's just going to be zeros, ones, and twos. Okay, so each combination of zero, ones, and twos for that string doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot. It's to the 64th power. Um, constitutes a possible state of the game. Okay, so we're going to keep track of all the states that happen. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, and we're going to keep track of the states of a game. And once the game ends, that kind of slate uh, will start over. We're also going to keep track of all the states from game to game to game to game to game to game. So that's the part where we're going to learn from previous experience what's advantageous and what is not. Okay. So to start, let's go here and let's create a string current state. Okay, I'll just declare it, won't even initialize it. Okay, so I'm going to have a method. You could do it anywhere. Remember, the order doesn't matter. Public void update states. Okay, so and all a state is going to be, actually initialize it here, and then I'm going to go through I is less than board.length. J is less than board bracket 0.length. Going through all the rows, all the columns. Okay. And current state plus equals board ij. So at the end, it's a string 64 characters long. And after this while loop, that is what current state is. Okay. So I'm probably going to call update states after gold plays, because that's when we have to make the decision about what move we're going to make. Okay, and if I go back, well, just look at it from here. So our decision based on the state of the game, just remember where everything is what column to choose. That's essentially what it is, right? What column to choose, and we're going to figure out if choosing that column was good or bad. Okay, so we have current state. Okay, let's also do an array list of strings called states in the game. Need to import java.util.arraylist. Okay, so this is going to be a list of strings. So each string is 64 characters long, and this is a list of those strings, which keeps track of every state in the game. Now remember, it's just the states after gold plays. Okay, so that's the list of states in the game. And also, let's go ahead and do this static array list string. Now the static is what's going to allow me to keep track of, let's see what I'll call it, all states. So not just in that game, but even when you play again, right? When you play again, all states keep accumulating. That's a static. It doesn't get reset here. Okay. And so, all right, let's go ahead and do, all right, so this is where the hard part of the logic, it's not that hard, but kind of the key to the logic, let me say, is I'm going to create a class that is just going to hold two pieces of information. It's going to hold a string, which is going to be a possible state. And the other part of the information it's going to hold is an array of 8 integers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Or those are the indices, right? 8 ints. Essentially, each column. And what we're going to do is, so let me back up. That piece of information is just two pieces of information. A string, which is the state, and then an array of ints, which holds how good or bad choosing that certain column would be. Okay, so I can't really think of a good thing to call it. I'm gonna call it a stage. All right, so what I have to remember is that a stage is a combination of what the current state is and what move we chose. Okay, so at a certain point and at a certain stage of the game, back this up, we have a string, which is the state, and we also have an array of ints, moves, and which will have 8. Okay. Public stage. So really, we don't even need to string s. So to create a stage, I'm just going to pass a string, which is the state of the game, and then I'm just going to, well, I don't need to reinitialize it, right? It says I initialized it here, so this is kind of what we would normally do. Okay, so that's really the class there. So really, this is allowing me to create a type of information that holds a string and an array of ints. Okay, I'm calling it a stage. So, so back in my world, we're at the update states. All right, so oh, and I need to initialize these all, but I'll do them in the constructor here. Or actually, I'll do them here. Okay. Now, what moves in game is just integers. That's what column we chose. That's when silver is the second player. It's the column that we chose. So the first thing that happens is gold's going to play, we're going to update the state. We're going to look at that state to choose a column. And then once we choose a column, that's going to go into a move. Okay, this is going to hold our move. So it's not static because we just want to keep track of the moves for that game. Okay, because at the end of the game, we're going to award or take away points to the array for these moves. Okay. And what I just said there will make more sense when we actually code it. You'll kind of understand what I'm trying to get at there. So, and then lastly here, very last variable, which is the most important one really, is an array list of stages. And again, we want to make it static because it's keeping track of all the stages. Okay, so this is where we're really going to get that logic for, it's like our database, basically. This is going to dump everything into all stages, essentially. Okay, so let's think, and after I'll kind of break this into a couple of videos because I can tell it's getting kind of thick. I know what I'm trying to get at, but I'm making sure, I'm trying to think of how I can get it to come across clearly. So update states, I've got the current state. Okay, so now we could do something like if, so remember, and you might be thinking, why do you have all stages and all states? Because I can check all states to see if current state, because current state's just a string, right? It's just telling you where the zeros, ones, and twos are. So I can check all states to see if this has ever happened before. Have you ever gotten this current state before? And let's see, if it is false, we're going to add it. Okay, so we're going to add it to all states.add current state, and then also all stages dot add. And remember, a stage in the constructor that we just created, all we needed to give it was a string. But remember, this stage is actually a string and an array of ints, which is later on where we're going to figure out how we're going to update how well those moves did. Okay, so we do those, and let's see this. Which ones are in the game? We always want to do states in game. States in game is just the states that occurred in the game. So even if this state had occurred before in a previous game, states in game dot add current state, and that's not in an else case, right? This is like an always thing. Okay, so we have current states. Or excuse me, update states. And let's think in this act method. Okay, so we got 2 humans. Okay, I guess we need to do it in each one of these. So 2 humans. So this is Gold's turn. When Gold plays, we are going to update states. Okay, every time Gold plays, we're going to update states. Now, every time Silver plays, we are going to update the array of how well. So no, it's not every time Silver plays. Yes. We will update the power moves when Silver wins or loses. Okay, so no, we'll just update states here. Oh, we will add moves in the game. Moves in game dot add call. Because so again, this is the logic, and I'm going to repeat this throughout, and then I'm going to stop. Okay, I'm going to take a break. So when Gold goes, we update the state. what does the current board look like? Have you ever seen it before? Add it to the database of all the states we've ever seen. Also add it to the stages, all the stages that we've ever seen. Okay, or update the stages, I guess you could say. Okay, and so same thing over here. Turn 1. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Player versus computer. So after this will be update dates. Turn 2 will be moves in game. Add call. Again, same thing. And then computer versus computer. This is 8 dates and computer moves in game. Add call. Okay. So that should be there. We still haven't determined. So when we win or lose, which is going to be, I guess we'll have to check all the oh, we could do it in here. So if gold wins, and I'm gonna do this in the next video. If gold wins, then we are going to, which means we lose. Remember, we're trying to get silver to play better. So if gold wins, we're actually going to take away points from all of the moves corresponding with their state. So we're going to match up a state with a move, which remember is a stage, and we're going to figure out, okay, well, let's take away from that move for that previous state. That's what we're going to do.